Awesome.
I'm recording. Woohoo! Awesome.
Here
All
we
right.
go.
Yay. Okay. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehan. We're going to talk a little bit about trauma, frequency, and essential oils and how the whole thing all works. There might be people popping on in and out throughout, whatever. I guess go ahead and mute everybody who, unless you're talking or have a question. And also, please feel free to post in the chat any kind of questions having to do with that topic. Please don't ask me anything else. I've done that before. I've been like, put your questions here, and I've gotten like, where are babies made and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, we're not going there. But all right, Ellen's joining us. Okay, so basically, out of curiosity, who already uses essential oils every day? Kathy, Annette, Lisa, Heather, for sure. I know Dana just started.
Yeah, just started.
Magna. Okay, cool. I've been using oils probably like 15 years, but only 12 with this company. Everything prior to the company was just like stuff that people got out of a Christian bookstore or like Whole Foods or something, Amazon. Like, people would send me whatever or give it to me in person if I was at a conference and say, hey, here's some stuff. And it was just like, to me, I didn't know any value except for smell. So it was like if you had given me a candle. That's kind of how I looked at it. It was just like, oh, this is a cute little perfume or something. I'm going to put it on or whatever. So I had no idea about the chemical aspects of it or how it worked with your brain or your cells or your body. And yeah, so it wasn't until 2009 that I was introduced to it, through some other people. I went to a Healing Oils of the Bible meeting because I was actually teaching in that city, and I forget where I went, but there was like a flyer about this meeting coming up, and I was like, that looks kind of interesting, because he was going in, it was Dr. David Stewart, and he was going into like neuroscience and quantum physics. He's a physicist, he's a mathematician, he's a doctor. He has like, I don't know, 5 or 6 doctorates, and he's actually passed here a couple years ago, which is super sad, but he mentored me for years. And does anybody know Dr. Stewart or familiar with Dr. Stewart? Kathy, I know Crystal, Heather, definitely, for sure. Maybe some of you have either read his books. He's done stuff on earthquakes. He's done stuff on, he was kind of like the main home birth guy who started the whole home birth thing. He's also, like I said, earthquakes all over the United States. He studied like ley lines and things. I mean, this guy is a brilliant man. And he introduced me to Dr. Gary Young. And so it just kind of spun out from there. And I'm such a geek about all this science stuff that I was like, just eating it up. But the thing that I guess I was most impressed with, that I didn't really understand previous to meeting these gentlemen, was how it works with even trauma. And coming from a ministry background, of course, I've had lots of times counseling, loving on people, all of that, and definitely loved the supernatural and frequency, and was going through some health issues. And it was kind of suggested to me through Dr. Lucky about 4 days later of meeting Dr. Stewart. And he didn't know Dr. Stewart. It was just one of those synchronicity things. They ended up meeting later, but I had went to the doctor, and I didn't want to go, but people kept telling me, you got to go see this one doctor. He'll fix it. Some of you know Dr. Lucky. I know Crystal does. She's been with me. I don't know how many times we've made trips out there together. But he basically, he suggested it too. And I'm like, okay, when you start seeing things over and over and over, I try to pay attention to like, okay, there might be something to this, right? So I ended up getting this kit. which is a little different box shape thing before. But yeah, it looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same. It's a great first aid kit. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I put on oils every day, but the way Dr. Lucky explained it to me is, and he's not even a member, he doesn't even sell oils, like he has nothing to do with any of that except for just being a doctor. And he was like, oh, well, I know the frequency of this and that and how it affects the olfactory system and that kind of stuff. So it kind of like went over my head a little bit. And anyone who's ever talked to Dr. Lucky more than once or twice, he can be like that at times. And sometimes, and I'm just sitting there like a baby bird, like anything, just keep talking, him, Dr. Stewart, Gary, they're major players in my life and my family too, not just like my health, but my marriage, my kids, like everything. And the way he explained it to me is this is your frontal lobe and behind that is your limbic system. And when we collect trauma or store trauma, that goes into the cells or the organs. Let me mute her real quick. Yes, I don't know if I did. But it bypasses the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is like the decision-making area. It's, where you process things and all that kind of stuff. Behind that is the limbic system. Limbic system is the seat of emotions. So when you smell something that is an oil, if it's a real oil, it'll go past the olfactory system into the limbic system, and it starts telling the limbic system to drop whatever it's been holding on to that isn't serving them anymore. So, over time, as we're subjected to environmental issues or people or situations, whether it's an authority figure or something repetitive or ugly or nasty, your body sometimes doesn't want to, it has a little more stick to process things. But we really process between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. And if we're not sleeping during that time, good luck. But so that's a good key right there, is sleep. But that's the time when everything really defrags. And like I said, some things don't, even though you're trying to work it out with your body, it just isn't doing it. So with them going past the olfactory system, past the frontal lobe into the limbic system, that's where the dump comes in. And I choose to know if it's like frequency wise why that happens, or if it's just chemistry, or it's a mix of everything. It probably is. But of course, we do know that there's certain oils that work better for different things versus other things. And there's a whole reference guide for that. It's that one. And you can basically just look up every oil and it tells you what all the oils do. And then the back half of the book, you can look up things as far as allergies or pimples or hot flashes or joint aches, or look it up and by alphabetically, and it'll tell you what the protocol is as far as essential oils, which ones work best and why, and that kind of thing. So there's tons of information all over the internet now too. So if I'm ever looking for whatever, I'll just sit there and go, okay, Google cough, Young Living essential oils, and you'll get your answer. You don't even really need a book anymore. Although I love my book and I still like read it. When I got that book, I don't know how many people know this, but I have what they've labeled dyscalculia since I was a kid. There's something that happened. I don't know if it's Montauk related or when I was born or something, but I have a couple dents in my head, literally. And so when Dr. Lucky was supporting me, he said that I think it was the back left side wasn't firing off properly, and it was kind of like mixed up. So when I read, I can read right, I can read good. It's not dyslexia, but writing and anything with math or numbers is like a big, everything gets all mixed up. So like whenever those passwords that we got to do, when it's like JK1, blah, 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 whatever. It's like, forget it. Like I cannot go from one page and back and one page back without, I can't memorize stuff very well either. So, so if you see me posting and there's all kinds of like letters back and forth and misspellings and whatever, that, you know, thank you for your grace and thank you for loving me anyway. It's literally a problem, but for example, that situation, cedarwood would be really good because it's really high sesquiterpenes. Sesquiterpenes are perfect for brain support. So just that as an example. But when I got the reference guide, I don't know what it was about oils, but I could read it and retain it. I was like, I've always known about it or something. I was really driven to learn and read this book. And it would stick, which is not normal in any other sense of other stuff. Like school, I always got decent grades, but I had to study, like I'm like write it out, listen to it, read the book, underline, write it again, all that stuff. So yeah, so this has helped a lot. Cedarwood and frankincense both have really high sesquiterpenes, and that's the most like support for brain, brain fog and that kind of thing. So yeah, but when I started using the kit that I talked to you about, I had 29 traumas logged. I didn't know how many were dormant and how many were active. And after 16 weeks of using the kit very consistently, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, but I diffuse, I put it under my armpits because that's a really good place for it to get in the body. You could put it in your belly button. You could put it at the bottom of your feet. When you put a real oil on your feet or your hands or your head, it goes and covers all of your cells within seconds. So, and we have trillions of cells. So it goes past the brain barrier, it goes past the blood barrier, and it's just amazing what it does. So it really, really helped me. After 16 weeks, not only did I get off 30 meds, which is kind of big, but I was feeling amazing. I dropped 80 pounds. Yeah, so I didn't even change my diet. After a few weeks of having to go buy new clothes, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I stopped eating Doritos and stopped drinking 6 Cokes a day, because I was drinking 6 Coca-Colas a freaking day at that time. Super addicted to soda. I have been off soda since 2009 now because I quit after that. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. I'm definitely, please ask me any questions. And give me some guidance here on where you want me to go. And we have about, I can go probably 35 minutes. And then I have a interview, Lily Nova, somebody, a new person. I've never been on her show. And so I'm going to get off a tiny bit early just to get a quick glass of water and go to the bathroom before my next one. But yeah, okay. So let's look at some of these questions. Not sure. I just got started. Yay. Hello, everyone. Dr. Stewart. Yeah, some of you guys know. Okay. A friend several years ago used lemon on her neck after developed blisters, hypersensitive. Can you help me understand? Was it Young Living in that? Okay. All right. So if it's not, here's the thing. The FDA guidelines are that if 3% of an oil is in a bottle, they can label it 100%. I found this out the hard way because I had all that stash of all the old stuff. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to use this. And I broke out. I was having all kinds of health stuff. Like my hair was falling out. My eyebrows were, I mean, it was like, and I didn't see a connection to the oils because in my mind, I'm talking to Dr. Stewart and Dr. Lucky and other people who were talking about oils. And I'm thinking, what's wrong? I mean, it can't be the oils because they're telling me that it's good. And so then Dr. Lucky brought up a point of testing some of the ones that I had in this stash. And basically that brought us to a whole big 3 blind study test where I believe it was 23 companies that we tested. and we found mostly propylene glycol in all the bottles, but there were some bottles that actually had some really suspicious junk in there that were kind of ritualistic, semen, urine, feces, like really disgusting stuff, which again, 10, 15 years ago, people weren't even talking about oils. Now it's like completely normal. Everyone talks about it, and it's just, you could buy them at Best Buy or the gas station, now. But back then there wasn't a whole lot of talk about it at all. But when I called the FDA and said, what in the world, why can all this stuff be in here and you're letting them label it? And they explained that whole ration of their rules or guidelines. And I'm like, that makes zero sense at all. I'm just going to ask everybody to mute. Okay, thank you. Unless you have a question or something. So, and then as far as the weird stuff that was in those couple of companies that we tested, the thing that came to me because of my background was that it seemed like ritualistic, that it was a consent volunteer without knowing kind of deal, like this thing and the other things where they're like, oh, it's fine. And then you take it and you don't even know what you're putting on your body and what you just consented to. And that's an agreement because you paid money. So there's an exchange and there's no karma with that. And when you're talking about DNA, there is a direct correlation spiritually to tap into the DNA if you have that opening. And so they're clever. I mean, these guys aren't sitting around singing Kumbaya. These guys are like very strategic on how they can get access to us and bring in entities to our field. So why did she get blisters? If it was a fake oil, it definitely makes sense because you don't know what's in there. If it's Young Living and someone first starts using it, one of the things that I have seen is, first of all, you cannot be allergic to the oils if it's a real oil. It's because it's nature and God made us, and he didn't make us to be having problems with nature because we're in union, we're all together. But one of the things the oils does do is detox the crap of anything synthetic, especially lemon. I use that pretty regular. If I had a balloon right now and I just blew it up and I put 1 drop of lemon or any of the Young Living oils on a balloon, it will pop the balloon. If I had a styrofoam coffee cup or something, or a plate, and I put one of the Young Living oils on it, it will eat through the plate within minutes, like seconds, really. By the time it all passed around to each one of you, you would see holes in whatever. Now, if it's a fake oil, it won't do it. It'll just sit on top. You can also see, like, if you put it on your body and it doesn't absorb, then there's either a carrier in there or there's something in there that your body doesn't like. It's not, anything synthetic won't come through. It's not brain barrier, blood barrier accessible. But it still hurts your body. Propylene glycol is not something you want to put on your body or diffuse in your house, because if you smell that in, it's getting in your lungs, and that's going to mess up your lungs and the sacs, your arteries, like the whole thing. So we, as most worldwide people, use lotions, shampoos, deodorants, makeup, detergents, all these things, and they're on our body. And we've spent years, some of us, using these things, some from babies, baby oil, and even like baby powder, all of that stuff, which now they're proving to be cancerous. If she put it on her neck, think about what all would be on your neck over the years of using suntan lotion or perfumes or anything. Your body needs an exit to detox this stuff. And if the liver is full, it'll definitely try to come through the skin. But that's an easy way to try to come out is, think of all the things we have on our skin. It doesn't matter if you use soap to try to get off all the years of stuff. That stuff is still in the skin. And especially if you're still using it every day and you try to put oils on, you could have a reaction because it's the oils pushing out what is already there that needs to come out, if that makes sense. So when my dad was super sensitive, and he actually did a liver cleanse, which is funny, but he did. And he hasn't had any problems ever since. He couldn't even walk in a room if an oil was in diffusing, he would start congesting and having inflammation. Now he's always had like asthma and things like that, but he would start coughing and all the things because it would literally send him into an inflammation kind of gargly funk of stuff in his lungs. And so you can detox a lot of different ways. I always say kind of like slow your roll when you're first starting, you know, maybe put it like on your wrist or on the bottom of your feet or somewhere and just test it out before. And to be honest, she's in the 1%. I don't know about Crystal and Heather and other people, but I don't usually see anybody have a strong reaction to that. Maybe a handful in a decade. So that's not a normal, but if people are MTHFR, then they're really, really clogged up with stuff to detox, and their body would need a little more acclimation in the detox. Detoxing fast is not a good thing necessarily. And even losing weight isn't good necessarily because fat holds all those chemicals. And when you melt all the fat, then everything goes into the bloodstream and then tries to come out through whatever exit it can, sometimes the skin. So all detoxing should be slow. That's why people always say, don't lose weight really fast. Don't do anything really fast. Do everything really, really slow. But I hope that answers your question. Let's see what else. How about, what's the name of the book? Oh, a reference guide to essential oils. It's on my website. If you get the one on my website, you have to have a password because it's not compliant and I cannot like just openly sell this book. That book that I have has all the cancer protocols as well. Which I was literally at convention when they were selling it, and the FDA came and literally took it off the tables right in front of us and told us we can't sell it anymore because it told us how to heal cancer. Just saying. So that's that. Okay, Crystal, stay. Yes. Oh, your little puppy. Yes, LSP is no longer publishing apps. Crystal, do you know if the app that Young Living, the reference guide one, is this going to be, are they going to keep doing this with LSP, or do you know? I really don't know. I'll ask around and find out, but there is an app. But honestly, Google, like, think of something right now you guys are dealing with, and you can literally Google and then just put Young Living oils and it will tell you like what the best things. And sometimes there's multiple things that all work because everything is such a Swiss Army knife. What's the best oil for healing trauma? Where's the best place to put it on your body? Okay. Bottom of the feet, hands, any soft part of the skin, like these areas are good. The spine is really good. For trauma, this kit, which I think Dana, I think you just got it. This is the best one for that. I usually use the main kit, and that's where I got the most support when I was consistent for that 4 months. And then there's a feelings kit that I used after because I went from 29 traumas to 4 in 16 weeks. And then I used the feeling kit and wiped out those other 4 too. Now, I'm not saying I haven't picked up a couple this week, but trauma is trauma, and I've had a week. I don't know about you. Lisa, you got your hand up. Were you asking a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to ask you for clarification. You're saying that 29 traumas, are you saying that you're picking up in your field or something that there's, or something, these are things that are physically happening to you? I don't understand that.
Yeah, so we all are exposed to trauma pretty much, especially in the last 3 years. But before that, you know, it could be like a coach made fun of you in front of the whole class, or worse, you know, sexual abuse, or, you know, MK Ultra stuff, or alien stuff, or, you know, I mean, every kind of trauma. But just from the normal life of like moms and dads and sisters and brothers and neighbors across the street, you can collect you know, quite a bit over time. And we tend to hold on more if there's a combination of those things, like if it's like an authoritative figure who repetitively did things over and over a long period of time, or if it's like shocking and suddenly you didn't expect it and something happened, those store. And basically the limbic system is the librarian of your body, and it goes, you know what, she's not going to process this right now, we're going to shelf this, and it like stores it in a body part until it's time. And then when it is time, it'll start giving you symptoms in that body part, and usually signals are pain or inflammation or whatever the situation, mucus, you know, rashes, whatever, hair falling out. And if you go to a doctor, the doctor going to be like, hey, you know, here's a drug for that, and try to turn off the pain instead of dealing with the root issue. So and Dr. Lucky does all this tests to find out like how many I had, or what, I didn't know how many were dormant or active. My bioscan can pick up your emotional list, and I can see what's going on if there's traumas trapped. It doesn't necessarily tell you where or when, but he wasn't telling me that either. And I got mine from 28 to 4 just using the basic kit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 'cause I don't really feel like I have traumas that I know about, you know, like that unresolved things that I know about, but I guess, you know, the way you're putting it, you're thinking, well, maybe I do, and I just don't, I don't know. I don't feel like I do.
Yeah, I mean, most of it, I didn't think I did either. It was all subconscious things, and the subconscious is funny because it's just playing in the background, and it uses all this bandwidth, and then you have this like narrow, like conscious part, and then there's all this stuff going underneath where, you know, you may be triggered and you don't even know why you're mad about this or sad about this or whatever, and you may not even I didn't have a memory of a lot of this stuff. And the good thing with the oils, you don't have to know what it is. You don't have to sit there and talk about it. You don't have to sit and have therapy for hours and cry and let your body remember it all over again and rehash it and go into all the stuff. It does it all for you. Like you just wake up and it's gone. And then you start realizing, oh, I'm acting different than this situation happened last week, and it's happening again. And I'm like, I don't even give a shit. You know, it's like, not like you don't care and it doesn't turn off everything, but the reaction, the charge is lifted, if that makes sense. Okay, I just came on. What book have you spoke at? The reference guide. Yes, it's on my welcome Stuart Ruby, or Ruby Stewart, on my website, swiftfire.org. It's called the Reference Guide to Essential Oils. Yes. Okay, what else we got? Love to hear specific way use certain where applied. Okay, hands and feet, neck, soft parts. Now look, this is also where when we go shower or take a bath, what are we doing? We're rubbing with our hands, we're putting it on our head, and then we're standing in whatever's left if it's the shower, or bathing in whatever's left. So your body is absorbing all the soaps and the shampoos and the fragrances and all of that. So it goes both ways. The bad stuff and the good stuff comes in the same way. Breast health. You know, I got rid of all my deodorants years ago. I use only oils on my pits because it goes right in my lymphatic system, and it does go into the breast to keep like healthy support there. If you ever had like a cyst or something, there's different things that you can put on that, and also you can actually use a castor oil packet and either shrink it or pop it. I work with several people who've called and they're all like freaking out, thinking they have the C word and not wanting to get a biopsy, and just like, oh my God, what do I do? And I'm like, you know what? I would put a castor oil packet on that for a good 2 to 3 days with some frankincense and some orange, and then call me back in a couple days, and then we'll see what's going on. 9 times out of 10, it's gone in 2 or 3 days. Not even kidding. Or shrunk incredibly. So lots of stuff for breast health. Same with fibroids or cysts in the reproductive system. Frankincense, orange, all citruses shrink tumors, shrink cysts, shrink fibroids. They have natural flavonoids in them, which shrink anything that isn't supposed to be there. And and enzymes. So if you take a ton of loads of enzymes and use orange and lemon and citrus and lime and all those with natural flavonoids, don't drink orange juice. I've had people who quote have the C word and they're using this to shrink things, drinking orange juice. And I'm like, that has sugar, that's going to feed it. You're kind of doing the whole opposite thing here. So there's lots of protocols for different things. Lily Nova. Okay, that's some of these. Let me catch up here. This is so much back and forth. Yes, good question about the cats. The reason why cats and dogs have problems with oils is because most of them are fake propylene glycol. So yeah, if you look online, you're going to see a bunch of shit online about how their cat got sick or how their dog got sick, just like a person will get sick from having propylene glycol on their body or anywhere diffused in the house. I got my job at the shelter working with cats and kittens specifically because someone let me know that I was bringing back, somebody else had kittens and I went and brought them up there and they said they can't take any because they were in a quarantine. This is before the quarantine thing happened. Again, this is a decade ago or whatever. And I walked in, I was talking to everybody, told them my naturopath, asked everybody, you know, what's going on, talked to the vet. And I said, look, do you care if I come in here and raindrop the kittens? And they were like, what is a raindrop? I explained everything, what the raindrop is. And I basically raindropped, I think it was 76 kittens, 4 days in a row. And then the doctor came back and the director of the place and said, what the heck? Like, it's working. We can lift the quarantine. The quarantine was supposed to be a month where they were not accepting any animals in and they were not adopting out. We put diffusers in all the rooms and I raindropped everybody for 4 days straight. I just came up there and hurry up and did raindrops on all these little babies. It wasn't hard because they're only this big and it's like really fast to just do it. And everyone was better. And the employees there were like, oh my God, I need this. They were like, my sinuses cleared up, my cough's gone away, I'm not feeling achy. And all they were doing is working with the animals and diffusing it and putting it on themselves too, because some of them were helping me. So they've all ordered kits and they have diffusers in all the rooms of the shelter, dogs and cats. And they call me almost every month for another bottle of Ningxia Red because they use the Ningxia Red for the kittens that are trying to pass. Like sometimes they don't make it if they don't have moms, but they'll drop or feed them Ningxia Red and they'll raindrop them and they stay alive. So yeah, cats are great. When you're trying to help someone with trauma related, how much does it matter? How much, or does it matter how much they bleed? Yeah, I mean, intention is important for sure, but you know, you don't even have to believe in an oil to make it work. It's kind of like, you know, I don't believe in a seatbelt in my car, but if something happened and I'm wearing it, it's going to still help me, right? So you don't even have to believe in an aspirin, but if you take an aspirin, you're going to have some side effects, good and bad of that, whether you believe it or not. Now, if you put intention into it on top of that and you just believe, of course, that's going to make anything better when you have a positive attitude about it. But it honestly has nothing to do with intention. It's physical, which is great, you know, because it works with emotions, it works with physical, it works with everything. Miss Patricia, did you have a question?
I can't text because I'm through my Samsung. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Oh, how are you? I was just going to ask, excuse, I get a lot of sinus. I had a chocolate croissant for breakfast and it just locks me down. I was wondering about the bottles, whether they're color-coded to the frequency of chakras. So is like the lavender...
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it a little bit louder.
Oh, is the color coding on the bottles, is it matching the frequency of the chakras? So does the violet of the lavender match the crown?
Oh, you know what? That's such a great question. I'm trying to remember what the colors are. I'm gonna have to, Crystal, Crystal or Heather, can you guys remember? I'll look it up and I'll put it in the membership post. but I think
Yeah.
there's a chart that shows
Okay.
like all the greens are this and all the, purples are this. And yeah, that's a great question for the labels. Yes. Okay, Terry, Terry, did you have a question? How you doing, Terry? Oh, wait, it's muted. I'm sorry. You can unmute. Oh, wait. How do I ask to unmute? Do you know how to unmute? We can't hear you. Or it's not letting me unmute you. All it does is let me ask you to unmute. There we go. I can hear you now.
Okay. I have found that everything is related to emotions. And I wanted to ask if you were familiar with the Releasing Essential or Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils by Carolyn Maine.
Oh, I love that one.
That book has helped me tremendously.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Feeling
I was
Dead or Alive is another one. I'll post the links. That one is like, oh my God. Yeah. So Terry, if you don't mind, whenever I make the post, can you put it in the comment, the name of the book that you're talking about too? It's the same lady, but I don't have that one.
Okay. It's really helpful. It cross-references charts. So if you have a certain emotion that you don't want to deal with, then it will tell you what oil in Young Living you need to use and where on your body you need to put it. I was looking at my girlfriend, and she passed a couple years ago, but her liver was eaten up. She never expressed anger, and anger has the same frequency as your liver, and it ate her liver up. So I was trying to look things up to cure her, and I always had a pain between my right center of my shoulder blades where you can't reach it. And I was having that pain when I was researching in this book.
That's it.
And
Oh yeah, I do have that book. I sure do.
It is amazing. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I don't have. So I cross-referenced, I looked on the chart where my pain was at. It showed me that the emotion that it was associated with was being a victim. And I'd been a victim all my life. And it said to use peace and calming. I thought, well, I use peace and calming every day. I wasn't putting it in the right place.
Oh, okay.
In my ears for mother, father, and depression. And instantly that pain went away. And I used it for about 2 months, and I ran out of the oil, and I was waiting for my shipment. Well, come to find out, I'd used it long enough. I've never had that pain again. I broke that off of myself.
Yep.
It's amazing.
You transmuted it. Yeah,
Yes.
I see on your text that what did you say? Oh gosh, 55 years old, started in 2016, feel better than ever in 55 years, no longer have allergies, diabetes, CPAP machine. Oh my God, CPAP machine.
I was just
replaced 7 meds, and I haven't seen a doctor in 5 years. That's amazing, Terry. What a freaking testimony.
She was taking notes from me. She was using doTERRA oils, and I put a little mixture I had blended up on her wrist. And about 15 minutes later, I said, how are you feeling? And she said, a lot better than when I walked in that door. She said, what'd you put on me? And I said, well, and she said, well, what was it? And I said, well, it doesn't have a name. I blended some oils. She said, you blend your own oils? And I said, you can do that. And she started asking me what was in it. And she said, I have that. She's taking notes from me. I saw that office. I thought, no, if she's taking notes from me, I don't need to see her anymore. So
that's awesome.
And I was on antibiotics at least twice a year for 40 some years.
For how many?
For at least 48 years of my life, which in turn I found out I had leaky gut because of that. I had to learn all that on my own. But once you get going, you just instinctively, you know what to do. You start using the oils, you know you'll pick an oil up. I was told you'll pick an oil up and you'll just know where to put it. And I said, really? And I was overwhelmed one night and I went to get my peace and calm and put it on, and that didn't help. And I saw this bottle that I'd gotten free with my shipment in Vision.
Awesome.
And I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. And I smelled it and I put on my temples, and instantly I felt better. And I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to go get that book. And I'm
Yeah.
going to find out why it worked. And it's for when you're overwhelmed and you're to put it on your temple. It comes to you naturally. We've
Yes,
known this
ma'am.
stuff and it was taken from. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. Love that.
Mhm.
We have a couple more minutes, Mike. I think we answered your question. Detoxing your body. Basically, I would just start with the basic kit. That is the first aid really for everything. If you already have that kit, that's what I would do. Bottom of the feet, you're asking where. Bottom of the feet, belly button, spine. Someone else mentioning Progestin Plus is good for breast health. Yes, forgot to mention that because Progestin Plus will help with estrogen dominance and even that out a little bit, so it's not so teeter-totter. Where did I go? Am I gone? I don't see myself anymore. There we go. Okay. Which high estrogen is what produces that can be part of why you're doing fibroids or cysts. Let's see. Wow, castor oil, alkaline. It's not really about alkalinity, Mike. Although that is an important thing for sure. Alkalinity is very, very important and definitely helps. It's more about frequency, which I haven't even touched on, but each of the oils have a frequency. We're 67 megahertz. And if you're using Young Living, each oil has a frequency, and we want to be at least 67 or higher unless we're trying to get grounded. So that's kind of where the balance part comes in. Kidney function, lemongrass, geranium, KMB is huge. KMB is like the bomb. It's not always in stock, but I've dealt with kidney stones. Oh my God, that is not fun. So yeah, I was using lemon and lemongrass and frankincense to break the stones up. And geranium as well. I was on a trip in Oman and was passing a freaking kidney stone, and I literally drank a bottle of 3 Wise Men and geranium and juniper almost every day. And finally, after like 3 days, it passed. But and if you know anything about traveling with Gary and Oman, you're in the desert, you're in Jeeps that are off-road, there's no bathrooms anywhere, there's no buildings anywhere, you're in the desert, you're out there with trees, frankincense trees is it. And that's not, it was a fun memory, but having a kidney stone wasn't. Kidney function, yes, I got you, Mike. Same thing, lemongrass, geranium. Bad headaches, blood pressure problems. Blood pressure, thyme is really good. Headaches, anything for inflammation. Almost every oil is for inflammation, but I really like peppermint and panaway. I put it right on my temples and really, really helps. If it's headaches because of hormones, that's a different issue though. So you got to find out the root cause and then we can look into it more. Let's see what else. Password. Okay. The password, I don't have very many of these books left. So it'll be like, you can do it. The password is Swiftfire. Don't give it out. This is being recorded and this will be out there forever. But anyway, okay, there's a chart. I'm going to look for the chart. Keep going. I have like 2 minutes. Best oil for depression. All the citruses. Citruses are so happy for your brain because the natural flavonoids, they shut down cortisol. So stress, when you're in fight or flight, you have high levels of cortisol, and that's what really drives your immune system down, your metabolism down, and really can cause inflammation response in your body. So if you use something to stop the cortisol naturally, which is anti-flavonoids, then you're not going to be basically pickling in cortisol all day long. So we want to stop that. There's a supplement called Cortistop that helps too. But if you're talking about oils, any of the citruses. All right. Nat watched a couple videos, put a drop blank piece of paper. Yeah. That's another way you can test it. Dropping oil on a blank piece of paper, if it sits for hours, when you go back, the pure oils will have completely gone. Fake oils will sit on top. But yeah, you can do the balloon test or the styrofoam test as well, or just put it on your body. I wouldn't, but you know, some people just really want me to test. Please do not send me companies that you want me to test, because I'm not testing anymore. I'm good with where I'm at. You're welcome to do all the testing you want and use all your time and money to do that. We paid a lot of money. We spent months and months doing this, and everything came back to only 2 companies out of 23. And that was Swiss Aromatics and Young Living. And now I've been to all the farms. I know the man who started it all. I know how they test. They don't test like anybody else. Most people don't have their own farms. They outsource something third party. They test third party. It takes weeks to get back. If you don't get your test right away when you need to harvest or just, you know, whatever you need to do to get it done, you'll miss the window of when the highest chemicals are there. So you can cut it too soon or too early. You can distill it the wrong way in the wrong temperature. I mean, most people don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just trying to make money because it's trendy. It's trendy and it's fun, and it's a quick way to put some shit in a bottle and sell it and make money, just like they're doing EMFs. They're selling pieces of shit, plastic for $100, and I'll test it and it does nothing. It's plastic. There's nothing about it. So that's another story. But okay, peace and calming, kidney function. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Can we do another Zoom? Sure, we can do another one. I'm gonna have to get off here in a second. Family member, shingles. Woo, that's a good one. So that's viral. Melissa is the highest antiviral. Johnny or Lisa for shingles, that's viral. And usually that can happen from different shots and different stuff, and or chicken pox. Let's see, high blood pressure I talked about. Oh, no more blood pressure. Yay, no more blood pressure. Daterra is one of the worst I've ever tested. I'm just gonna say it. Someone's asking. Wintergreen was 99% not wintergreen. Peppermint was 98% not peppermint. Lavender was less than 1%. I mean, it was scored terrible, and the frequency is terrible. And I actually know the owners, and I've known them for years, and there's a lot. I had to take down my website and my schedule because they were coming to every conference that I went to. They were calling me on the phone relentlessly, trying to get me to move to their company and endorse them. And I would not. They were throwing big number money at me to come leave Young Living and come over. They also hassled several of us, including Dr. Stewart, showed up at his house, knocked on the door, tried to bribe him with money, and told him they would translate his book into all these different translations and whatever, if he would just say that they were good, even though they're not. And we knew they weren't. And we both were like, I don't care what amount of money, I will not sell my soul for lying and cheating and something half-assed. They test terrible. And there's, I'm not even, I almost said it. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. There's a lot of things I can't say. I love you very much. I gotta get off. If you can send texts, if you go to Messenger or Twitter Messenger or Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, that's the best way you can ask questions. If you're part of my training group, everyone who orders one of these kits, I have a training group. Patricia's in there, a couple of you guys are in there, Crystal's in there, and there's 136 videos in there for training. I signed everybody a coach. Right now you get a free diffuser with that as well. And then I'm doing a bioscan. So if it's something that you haven't got already and you are interested, you can also just reach out to me and I can give you my link to get set up with that. It's a great time to get in and have this with Christmas and your family. And It's $165, but this diffuser alone is worth that. It's $97. So you're getting $250 worth of oils in the kit plus $100 diffuser. And then I'm throwing in all the training and a free bioscan and a free consultation. That alone is valued at $222. So there's a lot of like free stuff. And then the train, I just want everybody to learn about this, to start using it, to get clear, to get free, to not only clear themselves, but then start helping as many people possible. Because if the internet goes down, God forbid, or anything, you guys need this stuff. You need the references, you need things in your house to be prepared for whatever you need to. So I'm sorry, Laura. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, it's at Dr. Sharnael, or Twitter. There's Messenger and all those places, and you can link it. Or if you go to YouTube in a little bit after my next interview, I'll hurry up and drop a link in there too. I wish I could do it here, but I don't know how to do that from this minute. But anything else? Lakeside Laura, are you from Montana? What's Lakeside Laura? That looks like there is a lakeside in Montana, like right up the street from me. But Missouri, okay, cool. Missouri, yeah, that makes sense. I love all you people. We have, you want to do a bioscan? Awesome. Okay, go to, I do know where you can do the bioscan. I'll type it in here, swiftfire.org. There we go, Mike. Or you get it free if you order one of these. That's it. Love all of you. Love the Ozarks. Did a camping trip there. Love all the comments. Love you, Mike. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting anybody new. I haven't met Dawn. I think I know everyone else. Magda's here. I love you, Magda. Oh my God. Catch me on the interview if you want to come find me on I have no idea what we're talking about. I haven't met this lady, but it's going to be fun. And what's coming up? I have a couple cool. I have Laura coming for the members next week or the week after. I have to look for the private membership. If any of you guys are in my private membership on YouTube, you can sign up and subscribe for that. We're doing readings for astrology and some other things, just prophetic stuff with Laura Eisenhower and myself this month. And then I'm giving away a free bioscan and consultation, which I'll be announcing tomorrow. Anyway, I'm trying to rush. I love you. Bye. Thank you. I'll post this in a little bit in YouTube, but it has to process and all that. But thank you for coming out and hanging out with me. Y'all have a good one. Bye.